Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Rewind review, where we sit down and discuss some of our favorite movie franchises of the past. On this series, we're talking Indiana Jones. Tonight, it is Temple of Doom. Guys, welcome. Gooch joining me as always. Pat,
hey.
Welcome back. We appreciate you coming back for this series. It's been a lot of fun so far watching these for me. I'm not going to lie.
It's the first time I've watched Temple of Doom.
Again,
Dude, the only scene I've seen is the scene where they're actually in the temple. That's it.
Same. I've seen
else.
so many inner smitten parts. Like I've seen the episode where they're in the bedroom and they're kind of like they're full like they're messing around and it's that whole hijinks scene. Then I've seen the temple scene obviously, and I've seen the beginning when they're in the club. But like I've really never watched these movies all the way through, except for maybe Crystal Skull, which is sad. And then also
it's our generation.
That was at our time, yeah. And then also
I think Pat said that last podcast.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also The Last Crusade, I think I knew the most out of these original three, but I felt like from just watching this in pieces, I was like, I don't like this one as much. But then watching it the whole way through, I was like, oh no, this is a lot of fun. I really enjoy this movie. But like, what did you guys think of this rewatch? Like, just thoughts.
Pat, go for it. I talked a little bit.
Well, okay. Things to note about Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom. What do I think about it? All right. So the tone is noticeably darker.
So that's one thing I noticed. I was like, this is like kind of scary.
Yeah.
The reason that is because when Lucas, he had so much success with Empire Strikes Back, and the tone of Empire Strikes Back
was 82.
No,
84.
84. Oh, I forgot to give the whole intro, but
80 to
continue.
84.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Because that was such a success and it was so dark, he thought, well, that's what we'll do with Indiana Jones, right? So the second one takes on that darker tone.
For sure.
It's actually Lucas's first prequel. This Temple of Doom takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
Where the hell do they say that? Is that like the novelization?
It's not, so I guess
it's not
no.
actually
Like
said.
It takes place in 1935, right? Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
And that's why Harrison Ford is noticeably jacked. He like went to the gym and he really, it's like shirts torn and everything.
It's so funny because now that you say that, just like the little things.
I mean, he does have his shirt off a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
It does feel for some reason just innately like a younger Indiana Jones. Now that you say that.
Do you want to get to your facts?
Yeah, sure. So we'll do the initial.
Before we get
I totally forgot. So initial release, Temple of Doom was May 8th, 1984. It had an initial gross of, or I think this is total. I really need to nail it down, but it's $333.1 million, which is I think pretty great, especially for that time.
Yeah.
Okay, the description. In 1935, Indiana Jones ventures into British-controlled India and is asked to find a mythical stone. He stumbles upon a cult committing acts of sacrifice and enslavement in the catacombs of an ancient palace.
I guess this makes sense for the lack of Nazis. I was why did they not
it's
do
totally
Nazis
true.
again?
Like, I thought the setting was really cool because I don't feel like you see a lot of like India settings like that, especially like, I don't know. This really kind of reminded me of, I guess, and it's on purpose on the Mummy's part, but the Mummy just seems like it kind of really took a lot of pieces of this movie, like those horror aspects and just that adventure. And obviously, I mean, there's immediate parallels between Brendan Fraser's character. Yeah. But like, you can see like, oh, I didn't realize how much of a print this one made too. It's cool. It's awesome. But directed by Steven Spielberg, writers Willard Huyck, I don't know how to say that, and Gloria Katz. So new writers. I didn't know. I assumed this was going to be Kazdan again.
And Kathleen Kennedy was an associate producer.
Yeah, dude, you didn't know that she was that like.
I knew she was in the film industry, but like I don't know.
She was one of the OGs.
I don't think I like immediately expected to see her name come up. I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, no, she was a big deal.
She was ingrained with George Lucas back then. I was like, all right.
Yes,
absolutely.
Spielberg, most definitely. Going all the way back.
Absolutely. But Gooch, what were your like initial thoughts?
I like this way better than Raiders of the Lost
Ark. I kind of did too.
Really?
Are you on the opposite end, Pat?
I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the finest set action piece movies ever made.
And I feel like
that's
it does move at a clip.
I mean,
Raiders.
This is people notorious. They hate people hate the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people hate Willie. I mean,
I do hate Willie.
She's so annoying in the beginning with the screaming. I was like, am I being sexist right now? But like, this is just her character, man.
So you've got she's the anti-Marion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, she's blonde, she's buxom, she's beautiful.
She hates nature. She hates
Spielberg's wife, right? Later
Oh,
on. Right?
I didn't know that.
She
Yeah,
married her?
married. Yes.
Yeah.
Another unknown actress, by the way, doesn't really go on to do anything else. I
Yeah,
looked
that's
it up because I'm
absolutely
like,
true.
I have no idea who this woman is.
You got the James Bond tie-in at the beginning. He's actually in the suit.
You know what was
Is there
funny?
anything
I was
goes-
like,
Did
is
you
that a
think
reference? Yeah, I
yeah.
was like, he totally looks like Bond, even the way. Yeah.
Yep. Most definitely.
Absolutely. I got
Comes
that.
in again, not on his face. Not as much time to get to his face, but you know, you see his side first, and then it goes to his
Absolutely.
face.
And I thought it was interesting to start off with a dance number.
Yeah,
Was that
the
weird that
international
people didn't
setting
really?
and-
Was that something maybe people didn't like back in the or like?
No, I don't. I
Because
think people just don't like Willie.
You know what? And honestly, she was incredibly annoying until she wasn't for me. For some when she got into the
Later.
like temple, like I
Yeah.
felt like I was like, okay, she seems kind of competent.
She evolves.
She evolved, but it kind of felt like a really quick change, which was the tough. But like, 'cause she's just rolling. She's like, I hate nature. Ah.
Like when they start that campfire, I'm like, holy shit, this screaming scene is going on a little bit too long. Like,
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Annoyed.
I loved Indy and Short Rounds. Like,
Dude, Short
relationship.
Round is the greatest
he's a great
character
character.
in
It's so
cinematic
good.
history. I love this kid.
Truly,
He's awesome.
like I really didn't realize because again I've watched this in
Short Round.
pieces before, but like I really enjoy their just relationship. It's I'm wondering. It's interesting to know it's a prequel, so he would obviously have been older by the time the second one rolls around. I guess do they ever really explain what happens to Short Round?
No, I don't think
I
that
think he
just
just
kind
kind
of
of goes away. Yeah.
I liked him so much. I wikied him. I'm like, am I gonna look forward to seeing Short Round in like Last Crusade? I'm like, I don't think he's in this movie, and he's in nothing else. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no,
what
I'd be
a
curious.
wasted potential.
He's in the Goonies, is what he's in.
Yes.
Oh, is
the
he?
following year,
Yeah,
he plays
yeah.
Data in the Goonies,
Yeah.
which is, if anything, a more iconic performance. for him.
Absolutely.
Oh,
No, that's so true.
I loved him. Honestly, every line that came out of his mouth, I was like, I'm so about this kid right
No,
now.
and it's funny because like I don't think you could necessarily do his character
Name's
today.
fucking Short Round.
No, I know. But like
What
just
does that
like
even
with
mean?
with his accent and everything. But I don't know. I just felt like
Jones.
he was just a very earnest character, and their relationship felt like actually like a father-son relation. Like it felt
love
real.
you.
Like yeah, I love you, Mr. Like it's so good. It's really it's a great little pairing that I was not expecting to like.
I mean, Short Round is he's short and he's potent. I
And
mean, he's like he's
No, he's great.
the real deal. You know,
He
I mean,
is.
he is a counterpoint to Indiana Jones.
I love it.
Like he has that kind of,
It's
and he's
just
got
funny
that
that
charisma.
like
and,
that's his name. Like officially, it's like he calls him Shorty, but
This
it's
is
Mr.
Mr. Round.
Is that what he says?
When they get up to the palace and they're like introducing, he's like, "This is Mr. Round and Miss
he's-
Willie." Yeah, like,
and he always calls
Mr.
him
Ra-
Dr. Jones.
Yeah,
Like,
Dr.
and
Jones.
he had a Dr.
You call him Dr.
Okie
Jones?
dokie, Dr. Jones.
yeah, it's so
I
good.
want to get potatoes.
But there were like a few scenes of legitimate tension in this movie, like especially with like this is where the traps come from. I didn't even, like obviously you have the iconic like ball rolling in the first one and he's like running away, but like when they're trapped in the room and the spikes are coming down, and I guess that's kind of a point where Willie's annoying character sort of works because it draws out and he's like, "We're gonna die,
Really,
Like,
we are going to die.
those bugs, that is my point with bugs. Like
Dude.
big weird looking bugs, like are like spiders. Okay. But like once you get to like the weird like praying mantis, but it's not like a praying mantis, but like
I
it
know
is,
it's just
I'm
like,
I
and they're
can't do
probably
this.
harmless, which is the funny part.
Oh my
but they
God.
just look terrifying.
They creep you out.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
just
it's-
like
I guess. What do you think most of that was real?
I think some of the scenes obviously where
I mean,
they
there-
shot
there
like
is-
the ground.
There's no CG.
Yeah, there's no, so I think there
Those
was
are real
definitely
bugs,
like
yeah.
I don't know if it was
But
necessarily the actor.
There is a lot of use of green screen in this movie.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you get matte paintings, you get green screen, you get traditional.
I guess I don't
traditional-
really
traditional VFX.
Yeah.
You get models. You know,
Right.
you,
And I gotta say they do their best to like. There's only like the cart scene obviously has a bit of green screen in it.
And the end when
you
they're
know,
falling.
like all the water.
exactly.
I mean, like,
yeah.
yeah, at the
and
end where they're falling, it's very hot.
Yeah.
I mean,
But like I gotta say, like it's not amazing, but like for the top, like I still think it holds up. Like I still like enjoy it enough to the point of like I'm like this still works. I'm still suspending my disbelief, and it's pretty cool to see from a movie from 1984. I almost said 1884. No movies, or did movies exist back then? Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know.
Moving pictures.
Anywho, very early films.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
But
first, like, I don't know if it's the very first motion picture effort, but it's called something like the train arrives or something like that. It's black and white, and it was just a
feel like,
train pulling up to the station.
Yeah,
it was
you know,
very,
very
very
it was one of the
seconds long or
thing.
something like that. And people actually thought that the train was going to come through the wall. But anyway, I turned to this. The film's really a 20th century, like very early 20th century, 1910,
Films
11,
absolutely.
12, 13,
and films
14,
as
yeah,
we
so on and so
know.
forth.
You know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
I thought that was a funny little Dan Aykroyd cameo at the beginning. He's like, "You will be riding with poultry," like, and he's like this really
That's Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah, did you not notice him?
No.
Yeah,
Why is he in this movie?
I don't know. Again, I probably just a little cameo. He was probably around.
What
like
was he
working
in? Was it? Who did Ghostbusters?
I think Ghostbusters was by. When did
80, same year, 84.
It was 84.
Was it Spielberg or no?
No, I
No,
didn't write and
Ghostbusters,
directed
yeah.
Ghostbusters.
I was gonna say, I'm like, why? Maybe they filmed on the same lot.
It's
No,
actually,
they definitely. I mean, it's possible.
it's actually written by Dan Aykroyd.
Really?
Yeah, Ghostbusters were there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
concept
about
was
that.
based
Yeah,
on
yeah,
his
yeah.
family. No, this is not written by Dan. It's
Yeah,
written by
I was
that
like,
would
wait,
be
what?
fun.
But, yeah,
I was
but,
like, this isn't a comedy.
But yeah, no, I thought one thing I did love about the opening scene too was just like, just the absolute commotion of him, just
Yeah,
like
it's
trying.
chaos.
It really was. It was like nice. It was great.
A lot of practical like effects with like the balloons.
No,
and
they got
stuff,
to.
and,
They're just like, and I can't
a lot
imagine.
of things just chaos.
Well, imagine filming that. Like,
size of production, how many extras, people in cost. Like, I mean, this and the international.
people have the
Run it
balloons,
again.
like,
all of that, and pop them all, and like how many shots do you have? You know,
That's what I was about to say. Like, all right,
You
reset.
gotta redo all
Yeah,
of that.
like, all right, we didn't. Fuck, what? The camera's in the back. We got to refilm the whole scene. Like,
yeah,
truly, like,
the coffee, man. Come
yeah,
on.
like,
It's like
yeah,
Game of
that's
Thrones.
insane to think about. Like, you got to clean off all those balloons. You got to get all the confetti and stuff off everywhere to reset that. They probably, I can't imagine how many takes they would
Get
have
it
got.
on
Yeah,
the first shot. That's what
Yes.
you do. You get it on the first
Harrison-
shot.
Exactly.
Harrison Ford was probably pissed the whole time.
no, he's probably. I see. He was probably like, "Am I getting paid? Cool." Like
And Harrison Ford, we talked about this last time. Harrison Ford slipped the disc while he was riding
that's
the
what
elephant.
this was gonna be.
Yep, they flew him. They flew him out. He had surgery. They flew him back. He was back on the elephant. Finished the shot within a week.
Yeah, no, I think that's why. Like, you see him with a bit of like not like a hump, but like you can see like he kind of has some type of back thing going on when he walks now. Like he can't really go straight up. But like I mean,
never
he,
noticed
Oh,
that.
now.
yeah.
I thought you meant like at a point in the movie. Okay.
Oh no. But yeah, no, he really kind of put himself through the ringer for these movies. And I mean, even I can't remember the name of the stunt double for him. I feel like is actually really well known from these movies too, because he did a lot of the stuff. But yeah, I just can't get over the practicality of these movies, and I just really it makes me appreciate what they had to do back then, and to really just think on your feet.
They're called Industrial Light and Magic.
It's
That
so
was the
true.
name, that was the name of the company. And
Yep.
the thing is they won. I don't know how many Academy Awards consecutively for visual effects, but it was a lot. We
Sure.
were talking, well over a dozen.
Easy, like and they were like one of the first CGI companies, basically, right?
Well,
if I remember correctly.
I don't yeah I wouldn't
think
guess
so,
beyond my
yeah.
wisdom. I know that the first there was I don't whoever honestly for a mainstream audience whoever did Terminator 2, that's the first time I saw
What year is
computer
that?
generated in 1991 I think.
Yeah.
So that
I
would
was
be
like,
the
I know
first
it's
time.
later.
That would make sense.
And then Spielberg, obviously, we talked about this last time as well. 93 was when he did Jurassic Park, and that was the blending of the digital effects and the practical effects. And that was probably, in my opinion, one of the last times it was done properly.
T2 is really good.
It
Its
is
effects,
like it's just
effects like really
it's-
hold up.
yeah, that we could do a whole nother review on the Terminator franchise,
But then it just goes to shit. It's not.
It's so
that's
true.
What, that's
it's
what
like
sucks
well,
about Terminator. After T2, it all just
it
kind of
just kind of falls. But yeah, no, did ILM do Terminator 2? I'd be curious.
I don't know.
Actually.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know.
I don't think they do. Because I feel like do they usually show? It's usually in the credits where they show like CGI like companies.
then?
Yeah, they
I would imagine.
Interesting. That's crazy stuff. But yeah. I'm trying to think of the other scene that I was trying to think of with a trap. That's the only trap scene in the spike pit, right? Or what's the other?
I mean, there's the, I guess trap. I mean, not really-
Trap.
I think that's the only. That's the only thing I can think of that's a
Yeah,
trap.
that's
I mean,
true.
there's the tunnels, and then there's the water, and then there's the cage,
Yeah.
and then there's all the children that
Oh
are
my
just
gosh.
like,
Yeah,
I mean,
we
the
should. The
child slavery is
It's
like,
so
I mean,
bad,
like,
yeah.
They're hitting kids and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's interesting. Like the dark tone really is there. One of the other things I thought was pretty interesting about the film is it feels a lot smaller in scale, does it not?
It feels like there's there's not a
tighter.
ton of. I would agree in the sense
Like,
that there's not
even
a
with the
ton of
cast.
different. Like they start out in the club, then they're in the village, then they're in the temple.
And I like,
and then that's
and
mostly
I
it.
think
Like,
that's why I like it, because it doesn't move around as much.
No, it's
We're
true.
in the same kind of location, and our three main characters are pretty much there from the beginning till the end, and there's not much introduction of like new characters. I feel like Raiders of the Lost Ark, like it was kind of like introducing and reintroducing different people like the whole movie. Like, oh, the dude who burns his hand is in the bar, and then we don't see him until like maybe like 40 minutes later he's back,
and he's in
then
the desert.
but then we've met like 3 or 4 new kind of main side characters,
And then and then we don't see them till the end or something like that. Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. It's
Well, note the title of the first movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark. So the focus of the movie is
Obviously,
the different Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it follows them
good point.
threading together throughout the course, and it follows the arc itself.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie is the first movie to be called Indiana Jones, right? So they just introduced the first movie is not called Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost. That is not
so
the
this
title
is
of the
a-
movie.
Whoa.
Raiders. The first movie is called Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it was
Wow.
later changed.
I was gonna
so that
say.
they could sell it easier.
Right, I was gonna
But
say,
that's-
I'm like, there's
that
no
makes-
way it's not like
If you
that
look
now.
at the Academy Award nominations, the
It was
movie
Raiders
that
of
is
the Lost
nominated
Ark.
for Best Picture is Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is
Interesting.
I mean, you know.
So the
I mean, it
second
makes
one,
sense.
You have Indiana Jones
Yeah.
and the Temple of Doom. And I think you're right. I think it is a tighter movie, but I think that's why. Because
No, I think you're right, yeah.
and also everything's established. You just jump
It's so
right
true. You're
back
like,
into
I
the
know
action.
who this.
we don't need to
It's
know
funny
much more
because like,
about Indy.
and they don't even really need to let you know that it's a prequel.
And
They you know how they do let you know that it's that I actually don't know. If,
I mean, if anything.
well, the date, but
you
like
just
I'm trying
gotta
to
be
no, but
paying
I'm trying
attention.
to. Do they say the date in the actual?
It
movie?
comes up right on the screen.
Oh,
I
it
think,
does?
In the
So
beginning.
and
In
that's all
each
they
one
give.
of them,
Yeah,
but- yeah,
and
that's
that's
it.
funny though. Like I didn't even know that until you just said it. Now I didn't even think about it, but like it still doesn't like it.
So
It fits so well.
It's obvious, but it's not.
but it's not. Yeah,
Because like we just watched a movie like 2 weeks ago. I didn't think about it. I
Because
was like, oh, there's the date. Okay.
They're treating the audience like
adults. Yeah, no, it's so true.
right? They don't.
They're not
don't
beating you
have
over
to
the head
This is
8 times.
explain
by the way.
I know.
everything that happens in the movie.
It's so
you can
true.
just let people figure
Show
it out.
don't tell, for
And
God's
even
sakes.
this
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
just mentioning the PG rating, like the sex is even more in this than it was in Raiders. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more explicit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did think one of my favorite scenes actually. It was just I don't know, fun, just banter was between him and Willie when they're both trying to like get down and like just the back
they're
for the
both
you'll be
playing
back
hard
here.
to get.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
be back here in 5 minutes. And like it is really good just him pacing around the room and her just waiting there and they're all just it was just like I had a grin on my face the whole scene. I just thought it was actually just a fun time. And then it pushes
Yeah.
into this more dark the way it switches back between these kind of really scary set pieces to like these more jovial, lighthearted scenes. It's interesting.
And that's brilliant pacing on his
Absolutely.
part because it breaks the tension. You're not always overwhelmed with a sense of dread.
Yeah.
It's not like Requiem for a Dream or Into
Absolutely.
the Void, like these movies that just make you feel like you'll never be happy again. Midnight Cowboy. You
There's
just
time
cry
for
a
relief.
week.
Yeah, yeah.
So that, and I think that's the brilliance of Spielberg.
True.
As it's played out in this film is he's I mean it is much darker in tone. You're talking about voodoo, demon possession,
Human
child
sacrifices.
slavery, human
Putting-
sacrifice,
Putting your hand into somebody's heart, just
yeah,
taking it out
and,
like it was
and
nothing.
showing
Yeah.
the beating heart as he descends into the
and
fire,
it
and then
lights
the
on
magic, and
fire,
it lights
yeah.
on fire in his head.
It is funny how they don't really even like. Indiana Jones is like, all right, there's magic, and he doesn't really even like. I mean, they kind of like. Obviously, he realizes there's like he talks about Shiva and he talks about like this mythical stuff, but he's not really freaked out.
Nope.
He's
And
just like he's
I
like,
guess
all right,
it's
this is what I
kind of
like.
So, have you played Metal Gear Solid 3?
Yes.
And Snake Eater. Okay. So that game is very grounded from 2. And there are villains in it who use supernatural powers, and Snake literally never comments on it, never is scared of it, never really talks about it. Like, it's just kind of not the suspense of disbelief, but like the character really doesn't interact with the world like that. Like the magic just doesn't, it's for you, not Indy, you know?
He's not phased by it. This is,
right.
And he says you betrayed Shiva. Like he like I think the thing that is there are a few things that are noteworthy. One, the first movie is directly associated with, we talked about this, the Judeo-Christian faith.
Sure.
All right. This one is not, right? But the thing is in that this creates an interesting counterpoint. Like Willie creates an interesting counterpoint to
Maria, yes.
in the first one.
Yep.
and
Marion.
Marion, thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
And then you have short round, which is introduced. So you've got Indy has a son,
Yeah.
right? And so there's that link between those two, right? You have the Temple of Doom, which is a set fixed environment,
Yeah.
right, and everything associated
that you
with
do revisit a lot of locations in. Like you get to know the scene. You're
Correct.
right. Yeah.
But it's also different from Raiders. So it's they're all interesting counterpoints to each other. It's very much not your typical sequel,
Absolutely.
right? Which is what you're going to get. Not only is it not a sequel, it's a prequel,
Right.
But it's very different.
And
in
I
so many
doubt it
different ways.
marketed like that either. Like,
Yeah,
this
because
is a
this is the
sequel
prequel to Indiana Jones. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Like,
That's
just
so true.
fucking put the movie out. Who cares?
Yeah,
like, we
and-
didn't even notice, and we're watching this 40 years later.
But again, even if they said 19, I guess it might, like, I don't know if,
probably almost 50 actually.
yeah, I don't know if the British were still in India by like the 50s, but I feel like you could still just swap out the time, and I'd be like, yeah, this still feels like the same movie to a degree.
Gandhi
like,
was
maybe
the 60s.
I don't. Yeah. Me. I should know that. Yeah.
But,
I think so. I think the British were all the way up until
A while.
early 60s.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just very interesting and different setting that I ended up. I would not have maybe like in theory if you told me, like I wouldn't be like, oh, that doesn't sound. I guess it's cool, Temple of Doom, but then like watching it, just that spectacle and like that scene where he's like getting whipped and stuff and getting beat the shit.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
like
It's intense.
it's intense, and
And
like
they
you said,
make
it's
him
PG.
drink blood out of like a monkey skull,
Like,
or
I'm
like
like,
a goblin.
oh,
skull.
yeah.
I'm like,
Chilled
this is
monkey
gross.
brains.
Yeah.
And snake surprise.
Yeah, I
and-
did think that was a weird running gag in that
when
part
they're
of like
eating. It's like
they're eating. I'm like, okay, god damn it.
it's also
was tough
it's
to
also
watch.
very kind of like racist in a way.
Yeah, like it is
It's
a
just
little like it's
I
like
was
that's
this
what
is a
these
little
people would
much.
be.
I was like, there's no way Indians.
But
are
again,
eating
it's
this
of the
kind
time.
shit.
Like
Yeah, but
yeah,
these aren't typical Indians. The Indians,
true.
The typical Indians
True.
are the people down at the the very down to earth, very
Right.
communicative.
that's true. Like
You know,
I guess, and it's
is
kind
a
of supposed to
palace.
be like a hyperbole. I'd assume.
there's a Pied Piper element here as well, right? Like somebody has taken away all of their children, has brought all of their children away from them. It's I don't know. It's just an interesting tie. I guess tie into Western culture. I don't know.
No, I thought it was definitely interesting. I thought that whole scene where he's like kind of confronting the I guess the right hand guy of the king, or it's a king. They're king.
I guess, Sultan
yeah.
or whatever.
And like I thought that whole and then
The learned guy.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and the British guy there, like super British. I love his accent, hilarious. But yeah, no, I'm trying to think of any other like really big scenes that stuck out to me. Obviously, that sacrifice scene, like you said, where he rips out the guy's heart, is pretty insane.
Yes.
Like, and again, I mean, not perfect, and you wouldn't be like today. It's maybe not holding up as much, but like it's pretty good anime. I guess what it looked like almost clay. It looked like model almost.
there's
Yeah,
probably
like
some-
but the way he like ripped through.
Some model chest that he could put his hand.
Yeah.
through.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then they
practical
probably played it. Yeah, they probably played it back. Yeah.
Who
I
knows
can't
how
even-
they did it, right? Like,
They
you
would.
don't know.
I will say, have you ever gone on Corridor Crew on YouTube?
Nope.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I watch it.
YouTube channel about like they do like different CGI and they talk about how it works and they go through like old movies
Stunts
and talk
and
about
CGI.
it. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
it's cool.
It's really just interesting to see like how they had to work this stuff back then, and just they just kind of had to deal with what they had, but they made it look fucking awesome. Imagine like I can't imagine seeing that heart rip at the time.
Yeah.
Like truly after
This is the first one I saw. I
That's
actually
the-
saw
yeah.
this. I had to think about it, but this is the first one that I saw, and it was at
The first
my-
heart rip
First heart
I've
rip,
seen.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
No, but it's definitely
people
something-
People weren't so sensitive about
Right,
things
it was
back.
the 80s.
It was.
Yeah.
It was, and I was at my buddy Mark's house, and he said, "You want to watch Indiana Jones?" And I'm like,
You're
this
like,
is,
yeah.
this is intense.
This is cool, yeah.
But the thing
I don't
is,
know, I'm
is
not gonna sleep tonight.
but I mean, I don't know. I wasn't horrified by it. I mean, I've
No,
seen
it's
some
true.
things that
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I was traumatized by Jaws, right?
Sure.
This is 9 years. I was traumatized by Hellraiser.
RoboCop.
That part in RoboCop.
is my favorite movie of
One of mine, too.
of all
Yeah.
time. However, yes, I did not like
The
the
acid
toxic
scene?
sludge scene when I was a kid. I was like, this is the greatest movie of all time except for that scene. We
Yeah.
didn't need that.
It's
His fingers
so
are hanging.
bad,
I mean,
and the way like help me, I'm like,
know.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
even as like an adult, like
then he gets hit by the
and you
explode.
Yeah, he just turns to mush.
He's a head. Come on. It's really
Really not good.
Anyway,
But I guess we'll move into some fun facts. I don't know
real
if this is
quick.
real. Yeah.
One part I didn't like. I think like the ending is very long. Like I'm like, all right, is this gonna end or what? Like,
what do you mean? Like when he like
not the whole
Like on the
NC
bridge? You don't like
no,
all that
I mean
stuff?
by the time you get to the bridge, like I'm like the whole mine card thing. I
It's
feel
like
like
exhausting, right?
there is. It's so
Like,
true.
like,
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Hey, like, all right,
then-
and we're here. Yeah.
yeah, like that whole progression of the end just seems like just a little too lengthy. I'm like, there could have been something on the cutting room floor here that like
Maybe not
could have been
the
cut.
maybe not the whole.
Like it's a 2-hour movie.
Oh,
but,
it
like,
is. Maybe not the whole minecart scene or like you maybe choose the minecart or the bridge. I don't know.
No,
like
I think it's perfect.
you think
love-
so?
or maybe
I still
shorten
love
the,
it.
No,
the minecart part because like I wasn't.
I
too
will
into
say
that.
in the moment I
bridge
was
part
not
was much better.
Oh yeah, and a lot of tension.
You guys ever play Donkey Kong?
No.
Donkey Kong Country, the game?
Yeah,
Donkey Kong
I mean, I've
Country
played
64?
Donkey. Yeah,
So you know the minecart levels?
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Interesting. I feel like I've definitely seen other references
point.
to this.
I mean,
yeah.
It
Again,
had an effect. That's all
I
I'm
say
saying.
no more.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
go
my
into your
gosh.
fun facts.
Okay, so I'm curious. Again, this
Are
is
they all about short round?
No, we can get. I'll try and find some, but again, there's so many that it's just tough. I'm very curious if this is real, but again, IMDb facts. While filming the whipping scene, the crew played a practical joke on Harrison Ford. While he was chained to a large
No
stone,
fucking way.
Barbara Streisand appeared, dressed in a leather See, this is like dressed in a leather
What?
dominatrix outfit. She proceeded to whip him, saying, "That's for Hanover Street, the worst film I ever saw." She continued whipping him for Star Wars: A New Hope, and making all that money. Carrie Fisher, was Carrie Fisher on set? Oh yeah, she was a producer, wasn't she?
I don't know.
I think she was, because she was like a big producer. Again, the more I'm reading this sounds like bullshit. Barbara Streisand showed up in a dominatrix outfit and whipped Harrison Ford.
It doesn't surprise me.
Carrie Fisher threw herself in front of Ford to protect him, and Irving Kreischer chided to director Steven Spielberg, "Is this how you run your movies? The entire sequence was filmed."
I mean, Spielberg
Wow.
probably has that. He
Yeah,
watches
he probably
it.
has.
You know,
He probably has that
Hey,
shit. in his-
if Zack Snyder had his cut of Justice League sitting in his house this whole time, and that was in 2017, Spielberg probably has this.
I'm sorry, I had another fact lined up, but okay. The sounds of the mind. This is not fun.
that's a non-fun
No,
fact.
it was like the sounds of the minecart are made from squealing or something. Like, okay, we'll do it. The sounds of the mine car running along the tracks during the chase scene were recorded on roller coasters at Disneyland.
Yeah, I mean that's Foley for you.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool.
For the bug chamber, this answers your question from earlier. For the bug chamber sequence, Kate Capshaw was really covered in over 2,000 insects.
That's
Oh
what-
my
She
God.
took sedatives prior to the scene to get her over the initial fear and claimed they definitely worked. End quote.
Oh my God, I
drugged her and
Well,
covered
she
her
was
in
probably
bees.
she was like
fucking losing it. Like they shoot the back of her neck and like the bug is like crawling
it's
up
disgusting.
her head. I was like, Jesus Christ! I was like, that's got to be real.
I mean, that's making movies back then.
No,
And
it's-
the other
it's-
thing-
Do you
it's
think it's
also
illegal to get those? Like, they got to be.
it's
exotic
probably
bugs.
tougher now. Like
suffering for your art. That's what we're talking about here. Is when
Yeah,
you put
for sure.
yourself in a situation. Harrison Ford, he injured. Like you put yourself in a situation where you take the role, and it's that important. Like it means something to you. It means so much that you're willing to sacrifice.
No, it's true, and I mean, you just kind of had to do it back then too, if you really want. Like now, we do have
Right.
these more.
Yeah, De Niro actually had to gain weight. You know what I mean? Like
No, it's true. And I mean, even I
now
feel
they
like the
just
last
CG
actor to
you.
really do that was like freaking Christian Bale. Like he would fluctuate so much.
Oh, and the
and, like
Yeah,
really, yeah.
The Machinist.
That's
Yeah,
it. I was going to
yeah.
The Machinist, and then what is it? Where he's Dick Cheney? Vice? Is that what it's called?
I was gonna say I didn't see it, but yes, it is. Vice.
Really, you didn't see that one?
No, I did not see that one.
I want to see it. Mostly just because it's kind of relevant to like when we grew up. So I don't really know too much about Dick Cheney, but it seemed interesting.
Interesting.
Sorry
So
for that sidebar.
oh no, it's all right. I like can't go wrong with some
Vice.
sidebars. I'm sorry. I'm just looking for good facts because like there's so. I tried to go through this earlier, but like there's just so many just kind of BS ones. Okay. Filmmakers were unable to get permission to shoot scenes in India. The Indian government requested a copy of the script and demanded the word, bear with me here, Maharaja, be removed,
What
fearing
is
that the content did not reflect their culture. As a result, production was moved to Sri Lanka and where some locations were also used for the bridge on the River Kwai.
Yeah, the Oscar-winning Bridge on the River Kwai.
I feel like I've definitely heard
with
of that
Alec
movie.
Guinness, and Alec Guinness was in Star Wars, by the way.
Of course.
It's Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I knew that.
All right, so
For those who didn't know.
all right, so in Sri Lanka, so like they moved it to Sri Lanka. Yeah, the thing is this goes back to Spielberg's final cut. You know, the Indian government, and by the way, the Indian government they refused to allow the movie Gandhi to be shot in their country because they didn't think that a British any person who originated in the British Empire
Should play Gandhi, yeah.
could direct
could direct it, yeah.
direct or star in the movie Gandhi. They thought it was obnoxious and they'd never get it right. And then after they saw the movie, they were like, yeah, it was pretty good. You know, I universally reverse that.
Real
position.
quick, another sidebar. I wonder what it would look like if that was shot today. You know, Scarlett Johansson got flack for being in Ghost of the Shell because, you know, it's technically like
they definitely
and I think another was a transgender role or something like
that's
that.
what
that she ended up actually not taking. I wonder what would happen if we were gonna make Gandhi now and Ben Kingsley
it would just wouldn't happen. I mean, the question then it becomes, you know, this is a big question. Okay?
It is,
but
it's an interesting one.
What is
a very well known movie?
What is art? Okay, who can produce art? All right, and who can tell you what you can't produce and what is not art? Right, and that's that's the conflict that you're running into.
Exactly.
You know, well, you can't play that part. Well, yes, she can. I mean, like it's playing a part.
I mean,
right? Why can't she play that part?
Yeah,
right?
it's funny. We're running in like,
and even with this movie, like, running into these things,
just
where
things
it's
of like, no, this does it technically? Is it going to age well for the most socially conscious person? Probably not. But I think at the base level,
I think the worst.
This movie is still very easily digestible for everyone. And like, I don't know. I don't think that there's anything.
I think the worst scene is probably the one where they're eating the food, and maybe the fact that like India is sort of like a white savior. Like you could probably like use that.
No,
argument,
it is. It was kind of funny when the British guys came in like, "You're saved." I was like, "This is." I don't know why. It was just more just the funny hats that they showed
and
up.
Like you know, everyone's like gathering around him.
But even like again, that's a concept that I'm just like, you're right. Like I think there's like some merit to that, whatever. But like, again, this is such an old movie, and I think it's too good to just pass up and to even really worry about that stuff.
Right.
At this point.
It would
honestly,
probably
I think those
happen
conversations are just negated at this point.
They're hard to have because there's I don't think there's like a right answer.
And I mean, yeah, it's a whole minefield of shit that I don't really even feel like I could nor care to even talk about. Really,
I just avoid controversy. Exactly. I can talk about the movie. I think it's a magnificent movie.
I do too. I truly do.
Look, I'll say this much. Okay, you're marketing a movie. Who are you marketing the movie to? The American public. Okay?
Absolutely.
What do the American public look like? They don't look like people in India. So
no, yeah, your hero is gonna be Harrison Ford.
You got to sell the thing, and you got to make money, right?
Especially back then.
I mean, that's the reason.
Simpler folks we were back then.
Well, no, that's the reason that you cast a beautiful actress in the part.
Absolutely.
Okay? The reason you do that is because you want people to be attracted to her. Like you want to sell it. Otherwise, you would get ugly, normal, ordinary people. And what kind of a hero would that make?
No,
right?
exactly. And that is the one thing about here. Like when I see a superhero, I want someone that looks like they are a specimen.
This goes back to Socrates and Plato.
The apex of humanity.
Well, no, the idea is it's Platonic forms. It's the idea is that a man has this idea of being, you said, a specimen, right? Which is the Greek statue, right? And the women are modeled after the goddesses. You know, like the idea is that, and that I'm not going to go into it, but that's where it's derived.
We could go off on a whole. We could go off on a whole.
Also, there's money involved. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you have to sell the thing.
Again, there's a whole amalgam of issues that went into whatever came back then, or whatever comes out now and back then, and
I mean,
what sells.
It really hasn't changed.
No, it really hasn't.
It's how do you best sell anything?
That's exactly that's baseline. That really truly is.
People are more privy to what's going on.
Absolutely, but we could do a whole.
That is very true.
Yeah,
that is very true.
We could do a whole another podcast on that. I know this is me. It was just funny more than anything. I was like, not one person hit him with an arrow while he's not one of those people shot him with an arrow while he's climbing up that bridge.
Yeah,
I just thought it was more of a. I mean, again, more of a joke.
Besides
Obviously,
the whipping,
it's a movie,
we were
and
talking about
in
Raiders of the Lost Ark how he did get hurt.
And again,
in this he really, besides the whipping, sort of doesn't.
Yeah, I think. I think he gets the shit.
He gets demon possessed,
Yeah.
and he starts
Yeah,
like.
I think he takes
and
it.
then he beats short round. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
no,
like,
oh, he
does?
savage.
Yeah,
He
no,
does?
when short
And
round comes
short
back
round's
with the tear.
crying on the ground.
I love you.
I love. Yeah, I know.
I love
mean,
you,
like
Dr. Jones.
that's heartrending.
It's
you know?
tough,
That's great.
man.
And
It is. It's great
Fucking,
stuff.
How could you do that to short round? You
I
Of
know.
course, like, and he couldn't, and then he plays it off. He gets burned. He snaps back to reality, and then he's our hero again. Magnificent.
I think something
I love it.
truly that they could do from this movie is bring. Well, I guess it depends on when they set it, but bring back short round. Have him like, and I guess like because
Just leave it alone.
Do you
We're
think
done.
so? You don't
Round
think he
should've
like?
been the whole
Well,
series.
so this I guess
Short
is
round should have been an adult in Crystal Skull.
no, that's what I'm saying. But like, do you think it like Crystal Skull might have worked better if it was short round?
Well, they had to bring in his actual.
I know, his actual- yeah,
and
so,
then he
like-
had to get married because that's, I guess, like it
Yeah.
happened to James Bond, so it has to happen.
Yeah.
No, at that point we went too far. It did just too far.
Absolutely, yeah.
know?
No, it doesn't make it.
all
I'm right.
directions.
This is bullshit. There. It's funny that the one part in Crystal Skull that we'll get to is that whole, obviously, the fridge scene with the nuclear bomb. And I was like, this is kind of ridiculous. But I was watching this, and when they do fall out of the plane in the raft and survive,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I guess it's sort of not as insane.
And I didn't,
when comparing
I
to the
didn't
whole-
realize that line where it's what is it? We're not crashing or we're not.
Oh, yeah, we're not crashing.
Yeah, I was like, that's
Again.
from this movie. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think I knew that.
That was the other one I was trying to think of, like on top of the "we are going to die." Like, there's a few spots again where I was like, "Oh, that's
He's
where
got
that's
like
from."
the he's
Yes.
going through his hat.
It's
You're
so
like,
good. Yeah, when he's sitting there and it's like,
and then
creasing the
his
hat.
his hat gets left behind and he puts his hand in.
Of course,
Another
you gotta
classic.
get the hat.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's-
sure that happens in every movie.
Oh, it's so true.
Like
It
I
probably
don't know if
does,
it
yeah.
happens in Last Crusade, but I guess
I feel like it probably does, but yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I have anything else, gentlemen. I think this was a really good one. I got to say.
Last Crusade will be his relationship with his father.
Yeah,
And that's where we're gonna go, and that's
I
the
can't wait, yeah.
evolution, right?
I can't wait. I'm
And
really
then
excited to
Crystal
watch
Skull, it's sort of back to a parental relationship.
it. Yeah,
See, I
he's more
forget
of
if
like.
Shia LaBeouf is his kid or not. He is.
Yes,
right?
he's his child.
Yes. he is.
Spoiler. Sorry.
Oh well, yeah. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Is it with Marion? She's in
I'm
that.
pretty sure
right?
it's her. Yeah, it's her actress too. And
Marion.
Yeah.
oh god, such potential. They really could have done like. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's gonna be coming up.
It's exactly what it is. A potential
Yeah, it
and
was
it's an unmitigated disaster
Yeah,
as a
no,
result of that.
That really sucks.
That's okay.
Anyways. Yeah.
What a note.
What a note.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's been it from us. We'll see you next episode with The Last Crusade. You can find this podcast on youtube.com as well as podcast apps like iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, where you listen to your podcasts. It's probably on there.
All the fun stuff.
Our socials are at Delco Nerds on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook as well. All this info can be found at DelcoNerdNetwork.com. Don't forget to go there. You can join our Discord where we're having some, good conversations about whatever the fuck's going on. We were talking about some Blizzard stuff this week and State of Play and
Ton of stuff.
Nintendo's crap. Yeah, it's nice and fun. I hope you guys, if you haven't joined already, please do. I've been Gooch, for Trio, for Pat. This has been the Delco Nerd Network. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Wow.